I'm about to take you on a journey with a time machine back to 2018, when Wolvesville started as a requested sequel to the offline version, Wolvesville Classic. On this journey, we will foremost look at roles and when they got added. Today we go to 2018, a year with very raw role design, some real bangers and one or maybe two very controversial updates as well. You may think that we actually go back to March 1st of 2018 because March 1st marks the anniversary of Wolvesville. But oh boy, you're wrong there, because before this update there were already 9 roles namely, and I asked the developer Philip if he still knew which roles came first. And here are the dev times. This suggests that the game started with the villager, the regular werewolf, the doctor and the seer, and oh boy, here you see some gameplay recorded in 2023 but with just these roles. It is not very balanced since as soon as the doctor is killed, the seer knows how late it is. Time to bring a visit to the graveyard, yeah. And then it is purely guessing who are werewolves, maybe deduct something from who is accusing who, but that is it. A couple weeks later, we see the addition of the gunner and fool, and this adds a little bit more spice to the game, since the doctor could finally start playing mind games with werewolves on who they would protect, and more importantly, the fool got added, making a game way more chaotic if they are not found before the seer dies. No more carelessly random lynching after seer died. Well, instead, it will be anxiously random lynching. With the fool added, the werewolves and the village have no idea who is that fool. When seer dies and lynching no one is not really an option if you want to win as villager. Hence the last update, which I consider a pre-log update, happens 2 days before March 1st, and this brings the sorcerer. This role back then wasn't only disabled from werewolf chat, no, it also didn't know who the werewolves were. This kinda is like a solo but then winning with werewolves for real. The serial killer is maybe the most notable addition because collaborations really became a thing here, and you most likely don't remember a time without a solo killer in your game. Oh yeah, the alpha werewolf got added too, but this is not very significant because it only had 2 votes, and auras didn't really matter back then, as well as that it didn't have a private message a day. March of 2018 is the month that saw most roles introduced within a month, ever. We start with the Bodyguard, which foremost buffs the seer and entire village at that, and that was necessary due to the 2 kills that could happen with the SK. Hence it also did not replace the doctor, but one of the countless forkmen. And we don't need to sleep more than 2 nights and we already see the addition of role number 11.
It is jailer time.
This is actually a fan favorite role, and now you know that it is also a really old role at that. This role probably got added to spice up the village, but this is also where the game's favor started shifting towards the village from the werewolves. Not much later, we see the priest and medium. The village is really stocking up in abilities now and there's almost no need anymore for forkmen to fill games. I bet the werewolves feel kinda let down with the minimalist solo that the serial killer is, and with just a regular werewolf, an alpha werewolf and a sorcerer. At least, the sorcerer cannot be killed by the priest, which actually gives this role a really unique trait that has been well known for a very long time, but perhaps it's less known right now because you don't really see priest and sorcerer that often in one game. Also, the medium is a really revolutionary role which keeps the dead and alive connected and gives the seer or just anyone, and yes, I also mean werewolves, a second chance. Man, I really wish I was around there at that time to film how I revive a werewolf. 1 week later, we see the second voting role getting added. In my opinion, the worst one of the 2, along with Wolf Shaman and the Aura Seer. Finally, we see the werewolves getting buffed because the aura of the alpha werewolf is unknown now, meaning it can fake Fool, Headhunter and SK. And technically medium gunner and jailer too, but that's to this date very tricky. The Wolf Shaman allows the werewolves to make the informer roles less reliable, even though it doesn't happen every game that you enchant someone and that they actually get checked as well by the Aura Seer, because the Seer can still distinguish between regular werewolves and wolf shamans. This update may seem like a village buff with more info, but with the addition of the shaman and the Aura Seer, it's most likely the alpha werewolf and the werewolves that can benefit, if they are skilled at least. 7 roles in 1 month, wow, that is a lot. Now we make a leap though and skip adding roles for 3 months when at the end of June 2018, 4 roles get added. The Arsonist is the second solo killer in existence and is arguably an upgrade to the serial killer. Another role that gets added is the sect leader. Can you believe that the sect leader is really this old? We also get to see the grumpy grandma, which actually belongs to the roles that has served a really short while in setups as a fixed role. To be fair, this role is quite unique, and to my surprise this was the first role that had an extra say in the voting phase. Finally we see the much needed addition of the Wolfseer, which immediately replaces the Sorcerer, and the Sorcerer is never yet to come back to a normal setup apart from ranked, and of course nowadays as an advanced role of the Wolfseer. Now we don't need to wait for a long time to see new roles again, as the Cupid, Beast Hunter, Junior Werewolf and Mayor get added in the summer. This is the first update I actively remember as a player, because I started playing early July of 2018 when the summer break just started. I just finished school and my cousin visited us and introduced me and my brother to Werewolf Online. This is also when I racked up a high flea percentage. Well, and now for the roles. The Mayor has not seen much change. The Cupid was a massive addition that has featured for an extremely long period in sandbox setups. The Beast Hunter, well, back then had a good aura, but when it became an unknown role, it became the scapegoat, and that is when I started fighting for Beast Hunter justice. And of course, we have the Junior Werewolf, allowing us to finally make teams with 4 werewolves with abilities. This did however not happen, as the regular werewolf was kept in setups for a while and the Junior simply replaced the Shaman. Speaking of Cupids and love, do you love my videos? If yes, did you already use code HYPO in the game? By using the code in Creator Boost in settings, you can financially support me without needing to pay extra, and I will invest it into the channel. So far, Wolvesville had a lot of good additions, but now some controversy may start. It is the 22nd of August when I woke up and 2 roles that are game changers are added. Yes, it is an early birthday gift as well for me, because the Avenger got added in this update along with the Witch and another W role, namely the Detective. But apart from that, this update is one of the most controversial updates ever, since it adds the Cursed and Precedent. Are you a Cursed hater? If so, then you may argue that this is indeed a bad update. Precedent is one of those roles that has had the shortest lifespans ever. This role is till this day kind of broken and only works well in lobbies with severe hate on fleers. To me, this appeared as an attempt to really take the crazy game mode approach, but then it went horribly wrong. Although to this date I think the Cursed is fine, the Precedent really changed game mechanics, requires a totally different role set with more protection than regular games, and above all, when the villagers seem doomed, the Precedent can just flee and no more problem. And then it's the 14th of September, and with that, the final role update of 2018. This is, at least in my opinion, the worst update ever. It brings 5 roles, 1 is at least back then really overpowered, 1 usually has an RNG element, 1 has the ability to debunk any claims, and 2 roles are okay. We are talking about the Zombie, Bomber, Pacifist, Tough Guy and Seer Apprentice respectively. The Zombie nowadays is not as bad anymore as back then, but my legacy stats say it all. I almost had an 80% win rate with that role, meaning it is easier to win with zombies than with village. This may have been affected by the fact that people were even more willing to collaborate with zombies as villagers, but zombies could not decay back then. The zombie was actually always considered a party role, also Philip said that, but personally I don't really get party vibes when I see zombies in my setup. What about you? Oh yeah, fun fact, back then the Seer Apprentice could only inherit the role of the Seer. It did not turn back to Seer Apprentice when Seer got revived. And Bomber could be killed by werewolves. Yeah, well, think about that. Here are some more notable things in 2018 that happened that are not roles. In June, Ranked started, and in August, RVs got added for the first time to Ranked. Also in August, custom games were added. In October, Battle Pass Season 1 started, and in December of 2018, clans got added. So now it's up to you, which is the best update in 2018? If you enjoyed this video, then check out this video here on the end screen. I'm 100% convinced that you will have a blast with this video. You can also subscribe and then turn on the bell to get future videos as well. I will see you later, and don't be a traitor. Goodbye.